we have our object. It is saved in Daniel, right? At least mine is. And you can see that my Daniel's gray. And the reason why it's gray is because it's not used. All right, so let's go ahead and use it. And let's do something here on line 77. Remember, Daniel is the object, right? Because the right side of the equal sign was a call to the constructor of a character. And the constructor builds the object, right? Jumps up here, class character, runs the constructor, builds the self, boom, 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 boom. Now the object has these variables associated with them, and they're all equal to what we gave as arguments downstairs. And then finally the constructor returns self, right? So it comes back down, self is saved in Daniel. So now Daniel is the object, right? Daniel is the set of variables. Daniel is the cup holder. Another way to think about it is Daniel is a bag that is full of variables. You know, like a burlap potato sack bag, right? It's full of variables. Now I can go ahead and access those variables by saying Daniel, the burlap potato sack of variables, and I open it up by using the dot operator. So I say dot, and then I could say any of the variables that I want, right? Name. Okay. So line 77, if I run it, it should print out the name, and it does right there. See that? I could say Daniel dot weapon, and I could run it. You can see right here, bare fist. Okay, great. I could say Daniel health, and I could run it, and I have 100. Okay. So Daniel is the set of variables. Daniel's the set of variables. Well, great. And we can go ahead and use Daniel in our program. Right? How can we do it? Well, right here when we're saying Daniel, wake up. Well, what about if I don't want to say Daniel? I mean, what about if I want to use the variable? I mean the object. Daniel.name. Like this. Do it again here. Plus Daniel.name. Plus, right? Wake up, wake up. Alright, so now here I am using the name Daniel, I mean the object Daniel, to print out my name Daniel. So I go ahead and run it, and you can see here it says Daniel. Right? What if I change the object's name to Sam? Right? The name instance variable is going to now be equal to Sam, and so when it comes down to line 78, it should print out Sam, wake up. Right? And it does right here, Sam, wake up. Not only that, but right here you could do input. You could say name is equal to input, and I could say enter your name, like that. I think my version of Python is raw underscore input. No, it's not. Okay, input your name, right? So you can have the user enter their name, and then I could use that name variable as our first argument to the constructor character, so that when it prints out name, it's going to print out whatever it is I typed in on the keyboard. So I run this, enter your name. I'm going to say, let's say Bob. Right, hit enter. Bob, wake up. Right. Okay. So our object that we created, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. This object that we created, we can now use it in our program. Right. Whenever we're talking about the name, we could use variable, which is the object, dot and the instance variable name. Right, we call the variables that are associated with the object instance variables, because we say Daniel is an instance of class character. Right? And his variables are instance variables. Like name is the variable that's associated with the instance of class character, which is Daniel. So instance and object are synonyms. Instance and object, right? They mean the same thing. But they don't call these guys object variables. They call them instance variables. Okay, so now what do I want to do? I want to go through my program and start using my instance variables, right? And so we'll go ahead and talk about that in the next video.